Out here in the West, a man learns quick that mercy's a luxury most can't afford. You save what's worth saving, and let the rest go. But every once in a while, someone comes along who don't know the difference. Or maybe, they just don't care.
All right now, $500 for this fine mare. Who'll give me 500? 500, going once.
Do I hear a dollar? A dollar, a dollar! Come on, folks, the rain won't last forever.
No, no. Please.
Hell, just shoot her now. Save everyone the trouble. Ain't even worth a bullet.
What a mess.
I can't watch this.
The auction yard buzzed under a bruised sky. The auctioneer called out, voice echoing off the wet boards. All right, gentlemen. Next up, a fine gelding, 6 years old, good for plow work. But his words were cut short by a stir near the gate. 2 men dragged something into the corral. Not led, dragged a horse. Or what was left of one. The camera moved in slow, like approaching a grave. She was a mare. Once beautiful, once proud. But now just bones under skin. Ribs like fence posts. Coat dull and caked with mud, one eye swollen shut. The other open and aware, heavy with pain and something deeper, sorrow. She stumbled. Fell to her knees, coughed. Blood hit the mud. For a moment, silence. Then came the laughter. Hell, just shoot her now. Save everyone the trouble. She ain't worth a bullet. The laughter was sharp, ugly, the kind men use to cover the things they don't understand. The auctioneer tried to recover. Well now. This here mare's got some years left if you... Years? Someone yelled. She ain't got hours! More laughter. The mare lifted her head. Her good eyes swept across the crowd, searching. Maybe for mercy. Maybe just for an end. The auctioneer sighed. All right then, who'll start the bidding at... $1? Nothing. Rain began to fall, slow and cold. 50 cents? He tried again. Still nothing. He forced a weak smile. Ain't nobody fool enough to buy that sack of bones. A voice cut through the rain. $2. Every head turned. At the back stood a man, tall, quiet, worn thin by life and loss. Hat pulled low, coat patched, boots older than the town itself. Elias Boone. His face looked carved from the same earth he worked, but his eyes still held something the rest had long buried. Kindness. The crowd whispered. That's Boone. Elias Boone. Heard his wife died last winter. Been alone ever since. First his wife, now his mind. Elias didn't react. He just walked through the mud, climbed into the corral, and knelt beside the mare. She flinched, weak, but still proud. He didn't touch her. He just looked. Their eyes met. 2 broken souls recognizing each other. I know, girl, he said quietly. I know. He rose and turned to the auctioneer. $2 cash. You serious, Boone? Dead serious. The gavel came down with a tired thud. Sold. To the only man in Dry Creek crazier than the horse. The crowd roared with laughter, but Elias didn't hear a sound. He took the lead rope, moved slow, gentle. Come on, girl, he whispered. Let's get you home. The mare followed. No strength left to resist, only trust. Together they walked through the rain. One man, one dying horse, toward a gray horizon where thunder rolled low and endless. The camera pulled wide. A silhouette against the storm, the narrator spoke. In Dry Creek, they said he'd finally gone mad. But maybe madness was just another word for faith. Faith that broken things could heal, that lost things could be found. that mercy, was its own kind of strength. The rain stopped, but the sky stayed heavy. Elias Boone's ranch, Whispering Valley, sat low between two ridges. The house stood solid but tired. The barn leaned like an old drunk trying to stay upright. It was the home of a man who'd stopped caring about appearances because the only person he cared to impress was gone. Elias led the mare into the barn. Dim light spilled through broken boards. Dust floated like ghosts in the air. A photograph hung above the workbench, a woman with kind eyes and a quiet smile. Mary Boone, the mare noticed the picture. Her ears flicked toward it. Elias followed her gaze. His jaw tightened. "Yeah," he murmured. "That's Mary. She'd have liked you." He busied himself with work, spreading straw, hauling water, laying out a few handfuls of hay. The mare just stood there, swaying, barely breathing. "You gotta eat, girl," Elias said softly. "Can't heal on empty." Nothing. He pulled up a crate and sat down, silent except for the wind pressing against the walls. After a while, he reached into his pocket and held out an apple. Small, wrinkled, but still good. "I'm going to call you Grace," he said. "'Cause that's what you are." Grace in the middle of all this hardness. She didn't take the apple, but she didn't look away either. It was a start. The sun rose and set again and again. Elias brought fresh water. Grace never moved. He brushed her coat, slow and patient. He talked to her about Mary, her laugh, her stubbornness, how she'd hated muddy boots in the kitchen. He played the harmonica at night, and Grace listened. When she finally lay down, he covered her with a blanket and whispered, "Still here, girl." "That's something." The narrator's voice carried over the wind. "Death's got patience. It'll wait as long as it needs to. But sometimes life is more stubborn." Saturday night. The Dry Creek Saloon was alive with noise. Piano, laughter, cards, the clink of whiskey glasses. Elias sat alone at the bar, nursing the same drink for an hour. Hank the bartender leaned over. "How's that horse, Elias?" "Still breathing," Elias said. "Well, that's more than anyone expected." At a poker table nearby, Dutch Miller's laugh cut through the room. "Boone's feeding a ghost, wasting good hay on something that should have been shot." His buddies chuckled. "Dutch," one of them said nervously. "Maybe keep it down." "Why?" Dutch barked. "Man couldn't save his wife, now he thinks he can save a horse?" Silence fell. Elias set down his glass. He stood, slow and calm, and walked toward the table. Dutch looked up, his grin fading as the room held its breath. Elias stopped right beside him and stared down. "Elias, you ever lose someone, Dutch?" Dutch blinks. "Dutch, well, Elias, someone you loved more than breathing. Someone who made the sun worth rising for?" Silence. "Elias, didn't think so." "So how about you shut your goddamn mouth about things you don't understand?" He turns and walks out. The saloon door is swinging behind him. Dutch tries to laugh it off, but it sounds hollow. Dutch, crazy old fool. But nobody's laughing anymore, 3 weeks later. Early morning, the kind where the world's still blue and the sun hasn't decided if it wants to show up. Elias enters the barn with a bucket of fresh water and stops. Grace is standing, not just standing, moving. Walking slowly around the stall, testing her legs. She's still thin, still wounded, but she's different now, alive, present. Elias sets the bucket down carefully, afraid to break whatever spell hangs in the air. Elias, well, I'll be damned. Grace turns her head toward him. Both eyes open now, clear. She takes a step toward him, then another. She stops just inches away, lowers her head, and gently touches her nose to his chest. Elias's hand trembles as he rests it on her neck. "Elias, that's my girl. That's my Grace." For the first time since Mary died, tears run down his face. But he's smiling. Spring comes to Whispering Valley. The ranch transforms. Elias repairs the barn, mends fences, works with a quiet purpose. Grace follows him everywhere. When he hammers posts, she stands close, watching. When he tends Mary's old garden, she grazes beside him. Evenings. Elias sits on the porch, playing his harmonica as the sun sets. Grace stands in the yard, ears turned toward the music. It's not just recovery. It's companionship. Narrator. Funny thing about healing. It ain't a straight line. Some days you take 3 steps forward. Some days you fall back 2. But if you've got someone walking beside you, even if that someone's got 4 legs and a tail, well, that makes all the difference. The townsfolk start to notice. At the general store, women whisper, "Woman 1, have you seen that horse? She's beautiful now." Woman 2, miracle if you ask me. At the blacksmith's, men watch as Elias leads Grace past. Blacksmith, "I'll be damned, Boone. You actually did it." Elias, "Wasn't me. She did the work, but not everyone's impressed." Late afternoon. Elias is shoeing Grace in the barn when Sheriff Clay rides up. Clay's a good man, tired, worn by the years. The kind of lawman who's seen too much and believes in too little. Sheriff Clay. Elias. Elias. Sheriff. Clay dismounts, his eyes fixed on Grace. Sheriff Clay. "That the mare from the auction?" Elias. "She is." Sheriff Clay. "She looks different." Elias. "Food and care'll do that." Clay hesitates. Sheriff Clay. "I'm going to ask you something and I want you to hear me out." Elias. "I'm listening." Sheriff Clay. "Where'd this horse come from? Before the auction, I mean." Elias. "Don't know." "Didn't ask." Sheriff Clay. "Well, I did. Turns out she came from the old Harlow place, out past Devil's Canyon." Elias's expression stays still, but something flickers in his eyes. Sheriff Clay. "That ranch burned 4 years back. Family died. Father, mother, little girl. Horse disappeared that night. Some folks say she caused the fire. Others say she's cursed, Elias. And you believe that?" Sheriff Clay. "I believe in what I can see. And what I see is a horse that should have died but didn't. That ain't natural, Elias." Elias. "Sheriff, with respect, most things worth believing in ain't natural. They're miraculous. There's a difference." Clay sighs. Sheriff Clay. "Just be careful. There's talk. And talk has a way of turning into trouble." He mounts his horse, tips his hat, and rides off. Elias watches him go, then looks at Grace. Elias. "Cursed, huh? Well, if that's true, we make quite the pair." Grace nickers softly, almost like agreement. 3 nights later. Elias wakes to a sound. Wood splintering. He's out of bed in seconds, boots on, rifle in hand. Outside, the corral gate is open, broken, and Grace is gone. Elias. "Grace!" He runs to the barn, saddles Dusty in record time, and rides out into the darkness. The moon is full, bright enough to see tracks. Grace's hoofprints lead east, toward the Badlands, toward Devil's Canyon. Elias follows at a gallop, heart pounding. Narrator. Some folks say animals don't remember like we do, that they live in the moment, unburdened by the past. But anyone who's ever looked into an animal's eyes, really looked, knows that's a lie. They remember, they grieve, and sometimes they can't let go any more than we can. Dawn. Elias reaches the ruins, the old Harlow place, a burned-out husk. Charred beams jut from the ground like broken ribs. A stone chimney still stands, blackened and alone, and there, in the center of what used to be the yard, stands Grace. Motionless, head lowered. Staring at something on the ground, Elias dismounts, walks closer. Elias. "Grace? What are you?" Then he sees it, a small grave, marked with a simple wooden cross and a ring of stones. Wildflowers have grown around it, and hanging from the cross, a tarnished locket on a broken chain. Elias kneels. Picks it up, opens it. Inside, a photograph of a little girl, maybe 8 years old. Blonde hair, bright smile, and beside her, a young horse, a filly. With the same white blaze as Grace, understanding hits him like a wave. Elias, this was yours. This was your girl. Grace makes a sound, not quite a whinny, almost a cry. She paws at the ground, then lowers herself beside the grave. Curling her body protectively around what's long gone, Elias sits beside her. Doesn't move, just sits. Elias, she loved you, didn't she? And when the fire came, you couldn't save her. You tried. God knows you tried. But you couldn't. Grace's sides heave. Like sobbing, Elias rests his hand on her neck. Elias, you ain't crazy for remembering, girl. We all got ghosts we can't leave behind. I got mine. You got yours. And maybe we're not supposed to leave 'em behind. Maybe we're just supposed to learn how to carry 'em, They stay like that as the sun rises. Man and horse. Both grieving. Both understanding. Both still here, hours later. The heat builds. Elias tries to coax Grace to stand. Elias, come on, girl. We gotta get you home. Get you water. She doesn't move. Elias, Grace, please. She lifts her head. Looks at him with those eyes that have seen too much loss. Then slowly she tries to rise. Halfway up, she collapses. Elias, no. No, no, no. He drops beside her, hands running over her body. She's burning up, fever the ride. The exhaustion, the grief. It's too much. Elias, stay with me. You hear me? Stay with me. He runs to Dusty, grabs his canteen, rushes back. Tries to get her to drink. She can't. Elias pulls her head into his lap, shielding her from the sun with his own body. Elias, I got you. I'm right here. I ain't leaving. The day burns on. Elias doesn't move. Night falls. Stars fill the sky, thousands of them. A small fire crackles nearby. Not for warmth, but for light. For company. Grace's breathing is shallow, uneven. Elias strokes her neck and speaks softly. Elias, I lost Mary to the fever too, you know. Last winter, there was nothing I could do. I sat beside her bed for 3 days, and when she finally went, part of me went with her. His voice cracks. Elias, I thought I was done. Thought there wasn't any point to any of it anymore. But then I saw you at that auction. Everyone laughing. And you just looking for one person who'd see you as more than bones and bad luck. And I thought, maybe that's what Mary would have done. She never could stand cruelty. He wipes his eyes. Elias, so I bought you. And you know what? You saved me just as much as I saved you. Maybe more. You gave me a reason to get up, to fix things, to care again. Grace's eye opens. Focuses on him, Elias, so you gotta hold on. Just a little longer, please. But even as he says it, he knows. This is goodbye, dawn's mercy. The sky turns from purple to pink to gold. The fire is nothing but embers. Grace's breathing changes, calm now, peaceful. Elias feels it. That moment when the body decides it's done fighting. Elias, it's okay. You can rest now. You found your way home. Grace exhales, long, slow, and doesn't inhale again. Her body relaxes. The years of pain finally gone. Elias holds her as the sun rises. Tears streaming down his face. Elias, rest easy, girl. You earned it. The world stands still. A man and his horse, bathed in the gold of morning. Later that day, Elias digs the grave himself. Right beside the little girls, it takes hours. The ground is hard. His back screams. His hands blister. He doesn't care. When it's ready, he lowers Grace gently into it. Covers her with care. At the head, he places a marker, a piece of barnwood carved with simple words. Grace, she remembered love. He hangs the locket from it. The chain catches the light. Elias, you're with her now. However that works. Wherever you both are, you're together. He removes his hat, bows his head. Elias, Lord, if you're listening, take care of this one. She's been through enough, and if there's any justice in whatever comes next, let her run free. Let her know peace. Amen. He places his hat back on, mounts Dusty, and takes one last look. Then rides away as the sun climbs higher. 1 year later, Dry Creek is busy. Market day. Wagons in the street. Children playing. Life continuing the way it always does. Elias is at the general store buying supplies. He's different now. Quieter if that's possible, but also at peace. Like he's made his terms with loss. The storekeeper, a kind woman named Betsy, hands him his parcels. Betsy, how you doing, Elias? Elias. Getting by, Betsy. Getting by. Betsy. Heard you took on a ranch hand. Young fella from the territory. Elias. Yep, good kid. Hard worker. Betsy. Mary would be proud of what you're doing. Helping folks. Elias smiles. Small but genuine. Elias. Trying to. He's heading out when Sheriff Clay bursts through the door. Sheriff Clay. Fire. Prairie fire coming from the south. Everyone to the brigade. Chaos erupts. Men running for horses. Women gathering children. Elias drops his parcels, runs for Dusty. Hell. That's the only word for it. A wall of flame stretching across the horizon. Smoke turning day into twilight. The roar like a living thing. It's heading straight for Dry Creek. Men form a fire line, beating at flames with wet blankets, digging trenches. But it's not enough. The wind is wrong. Pushing the fire faster. Sheriff Clay. Fall back. Fall back to the town. Save what we can. They retreat, faces blackened with soot, eyes streaming. Elias stands with the others, watching death approach. Dutch. We're done. The whole damn town, then something impossible happens. The wind shifts. Not gradually, suddenly, like a hand reached down and turned it. The fire veers east, away from the town. It burns itself out against the rocky breaks of Devil's Canyon, where there's nothing left to feed it. The men stand in stunned silence. Rancher 1, what in the hell just happened? Sheriff Clay, the wind. He can't finish. Can't explain. Elias looks toward the canyon, toward the old Harlow place. Something in his chest tightens. Next morning, Sheriff Clay rides out to assess the damage. He's surveying the burn line, the clear split between what burned and what didn't, when he notices something. Tracks, hoofprints, circling the fire's edge. Like something was running back and forth, herding it, guiding it. He dismounts, kneels, touches the prints. They're fresh. From last night, his heart starts pounding. He follows them east, through burned grass and ash, toward Whispering Valley, then just at the boundary of Elias's property, they vanish. Not fade, vanish, like whatever made them simply cease to exist. Clay looks up. In the distance, he sees the old Harlow place, and near it, 2 graves. Above them, impossibly, the grass is green, untouched by flame. Wildflowers bloom in a perfect circle around the markers. Clay removes his hat. His hands shake. Sheriff Clay. Sweet, merciful God. He rides back to town in a daze. That night, the saloon is packed. Everyone talking about the miracle wind, the saved town. Sheriff Clay sits at the bar, nursing a whiskey with shaking hands. Elias enters. The crowd parts. Dutch. Boone, I owe you an apology. For what I said. About your horse. About you. Elias. Forget it. Dutch. No, I was wrong. Hell, I've been wrong about a lot of things. Sheriff Clay turns on his stool. Sheriff Clay. Elias, can I ask you something? Elias. Sure. Sheriff Clay. You believe in things beyond what we can see? Elias is quiet for a long moment. Elias. I believe love's stronger than death, Sheriff. I believe loyalty don't end just because a heart stops beating. And I believe that sometimes mercy comes back around in ways we can't explain. Don't need to. Just need to be grateful for it. Clay nods slowly. Sheriff Clay. I found tracks last night. Leading from the fire. They went to your ranch, then disappeared near where you buried her. The saloon goes quiet. Everyone listening, Elias. That so? Sheriff Clay. The grass around her grave. It's green, Elias. Untouched. Like the fire couldn't get near it. Elias's jaw tightens. His eyes glisten. He doesn't respond. Just finishes his drink. Sets the glass down. Stands. Elias. Some things don't need explaining, Sheriff. They just need respecting. He walks to the door. Pauses. Looks back at the crowd. Elias. They called me crazy for buying a dying mare. Maybe I was. But that mare taught me more about faith and love and holding on than any person ever did. And if she's still out there somehow, still protecting folks, well, I'd say that's about the most sane thing I ever heard of. He tips his hat. Walks out into the night. Elias rides through the darkness. Stars above, wind soft. In the distance, Whispering Valley waits. Lights burning in the windows. As he approaches, he hears it. Hoofbeats, distant, rhythmic, like a horse running free across the plains. He reins in Dusty. Listens. The hoofbeats circle once, twice, then fade into the night. Elias sits motionless. Then whispers, Elias, I know. Thank you, girl. Thank you. The wind picks up. And in it, just for a second, he swears he hears Mary's voice. The laughter of a child. The soft nicker of a horse. He smiles. A real smile this time. Then urges Dusty toward home. The camera rises, higher and higher. Below, the ranch, the town, the burned prairie. And connecting it all, trails, paths, stories woven into the earth. They said he was crazy. But maybe Grace came back, one last ride, to save the town that once laughed at her. Or maybe the wind just shifted. Maybe it was luck. Or God, or something we ain't got words for yet. The camera keeps rising, the world growing smaller, vast. But I'll tell you what I believe. When you love something fierce enough, when you show mercy when no one else will, that love don't just disappear. It changes things, heals things, protects things, even after you're gone. A final image. 2 graves on a hill. Wildflowers, green grass, and a single trail of hoofprints leading away into forever. So yeah, he was crazy. Crazy enough to believe kindness matters, that broken things can heal, that a dying mare was worth $2, and every minute he spent keeping her alive. A pause. The wind. And you know what? He was right. In the distance, a harmonica plays, slow, mournful, beautiful. For everyone who's ever shown mercy when the world said not to. It matters. It always matters.